This podcast is a member of the Place to Be Nation family. Visit us at placetobenation.com, the only place to be in your pop culture world.
Just a good-looking man, and any barmaid can be a star maid if she dances with or without a band.
Place to Be Nation Pop Experience. Welcome to today's edition of the movie review of the day. I am Andy Atherton, back here with you, continuing on with our latest theme week. We're all about road trips this week, that fun thing you like to do in the summer. Well, I mean, it can happen at any time, but usually summertime is usually the best time of year to do a road trip. And for today's selection, I'm going all the way back to 1963 to talk about It's a Mad, 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 Mad World. Did I say four mads? But there's four mads in the title, whether I say it right or not. Very funny movie, very long movie, about 3.5 hours long. Y'all, I did, Cannonball Run 2 recently, and I did the first Cannonball Run a few months ago. And those are fun road trip movies with, a plot device going on there, and they were also kind of like an all-star cast. Well, this movie says, hold my beer, because when I get to the cast list on this, now, you got to remember something. These things, it happened more often back then, but this cast list is like a who's who of comedy in the early 60s. I mean, there were people like towards the end of their careers. There were people, in the beginning, some in their prime. It's a great mix of very, very funny people. I mean, I'm sure you can find it on Turner Classic Movies. I don't know if it's on streaming. My guess is if anywhere, it would be on HBO Max. I think I saw it on TCM, or I think I bought, my dad loves this movie, so I had bought, I believe, the double VHS set. Like this and Titanic are the only movies I think I know of that have two VHS tapes. I mean, obviously, if you were to buy like Lawrence of Arabia or Cleopatra, those probably would have them too if they still made VHSs. So the logline for this movie is several different motorists witness a single car crash in the California desert. And after the driver's dying words indicate the location of a hidden stash of loot, turn against each other in a mad dash across the state to get it. It was directed by Stanley Kramer and it stars Spencer Tracy, Milton Berle, Ethel Merman, Sid Caesar, Buddy Hackett, Mickey Rooney, Dick Shawn, Phil Silvers, Terry Thomas, Jonathan Winters, Edie Adams, Dorothy Provine, Jim Backus, Alan Carney, Joe E. Brown, Jimmy Durante, because he's the one that is the one who gets into the car accident in the beginning of the movie. He says, like, and the dames will love you. I mean, I remember my dad just cracking up at this. I mean, Jonathan Winters kills it in this movie. Everybody kind of kills it. It is so funny with these pairings that they have. They put them all together. I think they did try to make a remake of it. They called it Rat Race. I believe I covered that in Laughing Theater. If you want to go back and take a look at it, I think that was with Grooney. But it's actually what's referred to in the biz as a madcap kind of movie, I guess. It was funny. It was the first time that Stanley Kramer directed a comedy, though he had produced, so this is New York in 1948, but he was mostly known for heavy dramas about social problems. And this was a huge movie at the time. It was nominated for 6 Academy Awards. It won for Best Sound Editing and 2 Golden Globe Awards. It premiered in November 6, 1973 at the Cinerama Dome in Los Angeles. With a running time of 192 minutes. However, against his wishes, the film was cut by his distributor, United Artists, to reduce the film's running time to 163 minutes for its general release. In 2014, the Criterion Collection released a restored version that is closer to the original 202-minute cut envisioned by Kramer. The film ranked number 40 in the AFI, the American Film Institute list of 100 Years, 100 Laughs. So it's you just want to see funny actors and actresses on a road trip with a lot of quick lines. it's just amazing if you look up this kind of this who's who, and then if you go down the cast list, you find people in this movie that weren't very known at the time. Like here we have Selma Diamond. Now a lot of you might not know who that is. Selma Diamond was the older female bailiff in the first season of the original Night Court. Peter Falk, Columbo himself, young guy, he was a cab driver. Norman Fell, Mr. Roper right there. He was a primary detective at the accident site. Sterling Holloway, aka Winnie the original voice of Winnie the Pooh, amongst other, I could name off, Ka from what's it called? From the Jungle Book, Roquefort from the Aristocats. I mean, he was so many. The Cheshire Cat from Alice in Wonderland. I mean, probably one of the most famous voice actors of all time. He played a fireman in this movie. Marvin Kaplan as a service station owner. Buster Keaton as Jimmy the Crook. Don Knotts was a nervous motorist. Charles Lane as an airport manager. Carl Reiner was a airport tower controller. The Three Stooges show up in this as firemen. It was Moe, Larry, and Curly. And again, like I said, Jimmy Durante is Smiley Rogan, but then there were some uncredited cameo appearances. Jack Benny was a man driving a car in the desert. Let's see, let's go through this list here. I'm trying to find, a lot of these people you probably won't know. Jerry Lewis was a man who drove over Culpepper's hat. So many people in this movie. So it basically it's like kind of a race where you got to figure out where to go. And, this Smiler Grogan is the Jimmy Durante character. He recently gets out of jail and he crashes his car on California State Route 74. As he's dying, he tells a group of motorists who stopped to help him about $350,000 buried in Santa Rosita State Park under a big W. So that's what the movie is about. They're looking for this big W. Let's see. 350. Sorry, I'm gonna look this up. I'm gonna do this live. This is thrilling, podcasting here. And 63 worth today. So let's see what the Google machine does. So now you can understand why these people did this. So $350,000 in 1963 is equal to $3,819,323.53. That's an increase of 991.24%. So that is insane. Would you do that? Yes, I think I would go on a crazy, road trip for almost $4 million there. So then, failing to negotiate a satisfactory way, the four cars make a mad dash to the park. And all these things keep happening as they go along. They go by air, by sea, by land. And it's one of those just crazy movies that you kind of have to see, because and then more people join the fray. And, we get to the, towards the end, and, you just don't know who's going to win and who's going to get all the money here. Right. Because it's one of those, it's just a cast of thousands kind of thing. Critically, the New York Times wrote that the film is everything down to redundant, that is extravagant tile success. It's wonderfully crazy and colorful collection of chase comedy, so crowded with plot and people that almost splits the seams of his huge cinerama packing in his 3-hour and 12-minute length. Variety says there are a number of true spectacular action sequences, and the stunts that have been performed seem incredible. The automobile capers are some of the most thrilling and daring on record. However, certain pratfalls sequences are unnecessarily overdone to the point where they begin to grow tedious, but the pluses far outweigh the minuses. Yeah, it did well, this movie. For the legacy, there were, films having comedic search for money with an ensemble cast modeled after this movie include The Unbelievable Adventures of Italians in Russia from 1974, $1 Million Mystery from 1987, and Rat Race from 2001, like I said. Stanley Kramer, they had talked about bringing back some of the former cast members for a proposed film titled The Sheiks of Araby. There was a screenplay all set up to be written, but then Stanley Kramer a few years later announced it's a mad, 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 mad world sequel, which was to be titled It's a Funny, 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 Funny World, but it was never made. Back in 2024, during an interview with Entertainment Tonight, Eddie Murphy announced that Jez Butterworth completed a script for a remake like the original, which will feature comedians from the past 30 years, including him and Martin Lawrence. I'd be down for, I'm not saying a remake, but a updated telling of this story. Not this story itself, but I would be down to see one of these big like all-star ensemble movies where it's a road trip and people come in and just show up and it's really funny. I just really enjoy those. Hence my love for Cannonball Run and other movies like it. All right, so I know I didn't dive too high into the plot like I normally do on some older movies, but I want you to check this one out yourself because I can't really do it justice. All I'm saying is it's probably one of my favorite. I'm going to let's in air quotes say old movies. It did come out 9 years before I was born, so it is old, as I'm old. But a fun road trip movie nonetheless. Look, talk to your parents, man. Your parents probably, might remember this or at least know these people if you haven't heard of them, and they could tell you that this is, even if they haven't seen it, they could assume that it's a very funny movie just based on the cast list. All right, so that brings a close to today's edition, but we have more coming for you this week. So don't forget, check us out each and every weekday here at 3 p.m., and we'll see you on the next one. Take care.
My dear old Uncle Herman says that French toast should be German.
Jawohl!
It's a man.